Friday, April 12th. Market analysis, Stan Ehrlich, and we are starting another leg down, in my opinion, in the stock market indexes now. You can see the daily vertical bar candlestick chart. We're making new lows since March 11th, a month ago. We need to close below this little yellow line, the previous lows, which were made on March 15th, in order to make me happy in terms of my expectations that I started talking about too long ago, weeks ago. And I unfortunately never got a sell signal at the top of the market, but we did get one during the top on March 26th for the E-mini June futures contract. It didn't work. It didn't work exactly the way I like them to work, but it did provide a warning. Now, low and last at 51.66. How low can she go? In the last few weeks, I've been talking about the downside objective a little bit under 49.04, but let's call it 4,900 down to 4,800 for the E-mini June futures contract. And I do think it's going to get there before June. Yeah, in the next 1 to 2 months. Next chart. Here is the same thing, but on a 5-minute basis. You can see overnight it was relatively stable to a little bit lower or around unchanged. From the big rally of yesterday, down it went. So far, Stan's been very frustrated for the couple of weeks until I'm starting to get some decent evidence that I was going to be right. And that's it. Today is it. We just need to stay where we are and, of course, lower. Spider daily data chart just starting to make new lows like the E-mini, as you would expect, for a slightly different amount of time frame, but that's really not the big issue. The issue is new lows, and it's a Friday, probably new low closes at the end of a week. The Spider SPY, I'm looking for a move down to 503. Been talking about that, gosh, for a month, and maybe down to 497. Next chart is a Spider 10-minute, and you can see we've broken previous lows, recent lows, and down we go. It could be a very big down day. It's already down 7 points on the SPY and down 75, as you would expect, and the E-mini. That's not small amounts to begin with. And this is just the middle of the trading day. Started the YouTube a little earlier today because of this situation. Next chart is the QQQ. Now, not quite the same situation. It's holding up much better. The Qs are still around the same prices they've been for a couple of weeks. But if I'm right about the Spider and the S&P, you know the Qs are going to follow. And this is the Qs on a 5-minute basis. The blue line is the big trigger, and it would not shock me if we didn't do it today, even on the Qs. Quite a bit of a drop. So not very likely, but again, it wouldn't surprise me. Here we go with the Qs on a daily chart. So now all of a sudden it doesn't look that far away. Here we are low and last, and I need to break that little yellow line. Slightly upward slanted. You could have drawn it flat. I don't think it's going to make any difference. And here's the Qs June futures contract on a 5-minute basis, about to make new lows again for the day and for the last, day. Breaking below these lows in the last few days is going to hit some stops. Next chart is the Russell E-mini. It already started to make new lows for over a month in the last couple days, yesterday, today. Now, yeah, it bounced back pretty good yesterday, but no signal, nothing I can draw from being bullish for it. And here we are, probably going to close around where we are, if not lower. And that's going to be another set of new lows on the Russell E-mini. Bonds. currently near the high, but we're now starting to bounce a little bit out of support. I don't think this is going to go very far or very long. The best I can say at the moment is maybe up to 1711, 11711. That's only about a point higher, a little more than where we are right now. I don't have any reversals, don't have any buy signals. All I've got is oversold in a support area at the bottom of a downward slanting channel. All of those items amount to a likelihood of a bounce. Well, that's what I said yesterday, and here we are bouncing some today. 10-year notes, same thing, same commentary, no change of opinion. Don't think the rally is going to go very far. Maybe up to about 109.24 or something. Maybe not even that far, if it can get there in the first place. Don't have confidence, kind of like the grains. Think it's going to trend lower, and both for the stock market indexes and for the interest rate futures in general, the move down, I think, is going to last about 1 to 2 months. And then we're going to start another major long-term, multi-month, multi-quarter, maybe over 6 months, move up. But I want to see it start to turn up in a few weeks, a month or two, and from a little bit lower. In the index, the stock market indexes, it could be a chunk lower, but not in the stock market indexes. I think they're going to be just a hair lower. Next, 10-year notes on a 1-minute chart basis or 5-minute chart, bouncing a little, but it's got lots more resistance above, and this doesn't look like any major trend changes in developing. Crude oil, heating oil, unleaded, and gas at the end. RBOB is on the ICE exchange in New York. And as I've said before, they raised their data rates tremendously. I think it was a very big mistake, so I'm using a different platform instead of NinjaTrader, which this is, to show you those charts. But I'll show you and the real-time data. So what do we got here for crude oil? Well, you got a test of the previous highs for the move a week ago. Almost exactly, right there, and in overbought territory. And at the moment, it's failing miserably. We are still 90 cents higher for the day, true, but nowhere near the high of the day. And if we can keep sinking like this, we might get below yesterday's low with a red bearish ER official sell signal, which would be a sell signal on the second high of the double top. Now, the pattern's not big at 1 week, so you shouldn't expect it to cause anything hugely bearish. But yes, a downside correction and a bull trend, at least. So I would be looking for a move down at least to 82.75, but probably down into the ballpark of 79. Next chart. We've got the natural gas, and I'll spread this out. Obviously, bear trend. Not quite oversold. I think we're going to make new lows for the natural gas soon, very soon. Next, we did get an outside down day, bearish engulfing, apparently yesterday in the heating oil. And a legitimate one, just double checking here, reloading the historical data. Take a few seconds. If that stays red for yesterday's bar, then the signal was a bad one. Apparently, I have to wait a few more seconds. We've been above yesterday's high on a sell signal. You're not supposed to do that. So it was a small day trade or overnight loss, and I'm flat. Whether it goes down more or not, the signal gave us an inkling of an idea that it should or could, and we're not quite finished. Now that the data has been reloaded, the calculations for the strategy have to rerun, and that does take another several seconds, 15 maybe. So I'll wait just a little bit longer. You can see that it was just barely yesterday lower than Wednesday's low. The high is visually easily above Wednesday's high yesterday. And the close, well, here we have it. Official sell signal didn't work, so we're out. Not too much to say. Let me remove what they call the text markers. and just leave up the little colored markings. There we go. So I'm bearish, but I need to see a close below this support area to really get down to much lower levels. And that would be 2.38 approximately. And again, I need to close under 2.56 in order to be a little bit more positive about that. Now, these moves aren't real big. I do like to show off when we have a red on the top of the market, red sell signal on the high day. This one did work. There was a little profit potential in it, but it didn't produce the move down that they oftentimes do. Now, I don't see any buy signals on this visible data at the moment. This sell signal did not work. Let me see if I can find a good buy signal. And I'm sorry, that was a fantastic one on top, just not coming up with anything on the bottom. Next chart is the gold futures chart. And I'm getting the, yeah, that's good. Watch out. Look at the size of this rally earlier. Today. Huge. I keep saying this because this is the type of action that you do get during a blow off top. Right now, it's almost down to where it opened. But more importantly, it's down below yesterday's high. And even more importantly, if we can drop off more below yesterday's low, while we're still open today, I will get a whopping big red bearish ER sell signal. Even if I don't get a sell signal, like the one that happened, for instance, on December 4th, I still think it's topping out. Sell signal or no sell signal. Next, yikes. We got the same thing developing here in silver. Now, a couple of days ago, I had a false sell signal because I had bad data. And that was, I think, on Wednesday. And the data errors were corrected and there was no signal as a result. So I apologize for claiming that there was a big sell signal on Thursday. Not my fault, the data company. And they say, well, I'm only transferring data from somebody else, but that's like saying, well, I was only driving the escape car, the getaway car. But look here, same thing's happening. Silver, huge rally, not holding very well, possibility of it completely failing, which would be getting below yesterday's low, and I would have another sell signal. I'd love to get two big red sell signals on the top of the market and silver and gold simultaneously. That kind of thing would probably happen only once every couple of years, but the setup is right in front of you. Next, platinum. Gosh almighty, I got to say the same thing. Platinum popped up into a resistance area, extremely sharp rally, overbought conditions for 4 days in a row now, and it's just not holding very well at the moment. Now, don't jump the gun. Just because I'm optimistic about it heading south doesn't mean I'm going to be right. I'm not always right. Copper. In a resistance area with new highs for the move, and I can't believe it's doing the exact same thing that the silver and the gold and platinum are doing. All four metal markets, copper having nothing to do with precious, but anyway, terrible. It doesn't hold after new highs and overbought and a resistance area. Gosh, been a long time since I've seen all four of, do the same kind of thing all together. Next, okay, grain complex, beans, oil, meal, corn, and wheat in that order. I have a system that picked the low of the move in soybean oil, soybean meal, corn, and wheat just recently in the last month or so. You'll see. We're now oversold at the moment in soybeans. It's dropped down nicely. Unfortunately, we did not get a bottom back in at the end of February. So watch that time frame, that low on the next four charts. So I'm looking for a bounce in beans. It's bouncing a little today. I said the same thing yesterday when it was first oversold. I don't trust it It ain't going to go up very far, in my opinion. It's going to make new lows very soon, and I'm looking for a test of the lows and more. Soybean oil, there it is. Just before the rally started, right there is a bullish engulfing ER buy signal on March 1st. Got the rally. It got overbought, topped out. We're starting to slide. New lows today for approximately a month, almost exactly a month. I think we're going to test the bottom, and I think we're going to make new lows. But I have to point out, we're super close to oversold. So a little bounce in the interim, and the interim is term 1 to 2 weeks, then new lows, bounce or no bounce. Soybean meal got the bottom to the exact day, February 29th. Good rally, not great. Went down, almost made new lows, and now is bouncing a little bit, the opposite of beans and oil. But I still don't trust it. We're at resistance. We're still in a big sideways trading range, and the only hope I've got is the long-term support level is going to hold for a bigger rally. But again, don't see it yet. Got to close above 348 to gain my interest about being bullish to any significant extent. And then I'm probably going to only forecast a minor rally again. So no big move here as far as I can tell. I'm still basically bearish. Beans, oil, meal. How about corn? Yep, got the bottom to the exact day. Rallied weeks sideways. And I think corn is about to go bye-bye and drop in a new low ground and head further south. Okay, next chart. Wheat got the bottom with a double buy signal, 2 bullish engulfings back to back. Complicated situation, but it worked out. I'm really happy the code worked very, very well. Rallied nicely and topped out just a few days ago. Now starting to drift off, and same commentary for wheat. Finally, let's go to cattle. Down the tubes, oversold in the last few days, very close to it at the current levels, and can't help it, looking for beef to head south some more. Next stopping point, probably in the ballpark of 166, 161. Next chart. Hogs, I talked about on Wednesday, when it gapped up, that it was a possible exhaustion gap in a resistance area. At the top of the resistance area, I may have used the word or phrase, this is the perfect spot for it to top out. And it was trading right there at the time. Very gutsy short-term short sale. If anybody did anything about it, it's working. Next. Oh, first thing, close the gap. That would be around 90.67. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it's going to come down and close this other gap at 88.40 and maybe stop there. That's support and a gap closure. Otherwise, the likelihood of it's coming down to 85 or 84 is not at all out of the question. And we're going to go to the other trading platform to show you my ICE exchange in New York, futures contracts in coffee. Huge spike high, not holding super well at the moment, but I don't see reversals yet. Could be an extremely good candidate, but again, it's got to get below yesterday's low. Then I'll talk about it coming all the way down to the top of that pennant again, support. Next, OJ, and I should make it full screen, sorry. I think this pennant formation may not be a pennant. It keeps on breaking out and sagging back in, going down below and coming back up. So pennants are really sideways trading ranges that narrow slowly to a tip. I could say, generally speaking, that's true for this trading range we've got since the top of the market I picked with a bearish engulfing, and the bottom of the market back here with a bullish engulfing. So OJ, gonna pass on the comments. Oh my God, coffee. And we just saw that. Whoops, going past. Sorry about that. Cocoa. Well, if it gets too strong too quick, and it's kind of getting close to that, I would call it a blow off top. Here, all I can say is it still qualifies for the possibility of a broadening top formation. This is number one. That's number two the next day. 2 days later, you got number three. Then you got a number four, which has to be a lower low. And number five has to be a higher high. And we are at the top. So all we have to do now is go all the way back down to make a low lower than the low made on April 4th. And you will have a completed 5-point broadening top formation, which are fairly rare. But they're pretty darn bearish when they happen. A lot of whipsawing going on. For the moment, you've got to be bullish, because other than overbought and a little test of resistance line, looks like this market could go higher, but I see the possibility of the formation. So I cannot sit here and at least not mention it. Cotton had a buy signal a few days ago, terrible, didn't work, got stopped out immediately the next day. We don't stick around for big losses. We have extremely disciplined, automated protective stops the instant we are in a new long or short because of our automated signals. Money management, one of the most important features of trading, period. You have to know how to and when and where to get in. And just important, maybe even more so, you have to know when and where and how and why to get the heck out. A lot of people get into a trade because they love what they see. They're convinced they're going to be right, and they never are concerned about a protective stop, or commonly called a stop loss order. Comment: we have finally gotten to my minimum downside objective on that head and shoulder top I pointed out weeks ago. This has been a pretty darn good move. The beginning of the move down was at 94.70. Today's low, not that you're going to buy it, 81.61. Let's just say close to 80, 81, 82. Down from 94, 12 bucks, not bad on a $94 item at first. The downside objective has been fulfilled. It's over. The head and shoulder top worked extremely nicely. A rating on this pattern of 1 to 10, it was a 9, maybe even a 9.5. We got a sell signal in the first shoulder high. Lasted a day or two. Good trade. Top of the market, overbought. The number of days, the symmetry of this thing was perfect. From the first shoulder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days to the top. From the top, another 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You betcha. Exactly. The last shoulder high, symmetrical. Down you went. Next chart. Sugar. Oversold, not uncommon when you're breaking out of a pattern, but are we? It certainly looks like it. We broke out yesterday on a closing basis. Today's high is right smack on the previous bull trend line across the bottom. So, is this a pennant? Well, sort of. You can draw another line across these highs and across the high made a week and a half ago. But, I don't know. The good thing here is it's breaking the support line. Now, oversold and testing a previous low. So I cannot rule out a quick little bounce right here. Not a good spot to go short. Maybe a little bit below today's low is a better place. I hate to say selling it lower, but that's what it looks like. Or in a few days if it bounces a little bit. And going back to RBOB, gasoline, now overbought again. This market is stair-stepping its way up. Every time it runs up, it gets overbought and has a correction. Overbought has a correction. Overbought gets a correction. Overbought has a little correction. Overbought, what do you think happens next? Did we sell the high of the market on September 15th? Damn right. You have a great weekend. Profitable trading to you. Let's check to see what the E-mini is doing real quick here before we part. And I'm going over to the spider and the E-mini 1 minute. Oh my, it is low and last almost exactly. It made the low of the day only a few minutes ago. I think this could begin to actually accelerate downward as other indexes start to follow suit. Have a great weekend.